Okay. What's your experience with motorsports? Let's start off with Jason.
Well, I grew up with hot rods and racing, not me racing sprint cars, but going to sprint car races, IndyCar race, all that stuff. Just racing, just anything with a motor and wheels, I was into it. And then I got into four-wheeling around 16 and love it. So I've been doing it ever since, and then it evolved to a podcast here, talking about wheeling.
Talking about wheeling.
All right, same question for you, Chris.
Yeah,
What do you
you
got?
Motorsports.
Motorsports.
Well,
They
I
even
don't-
have motors in
Yeah,
Connecticut?
back in my day. No, I didn't.
Where's your cane?
I didn't have a father that did the whole motorsport thing or was into gearhead stuff. I mean, I kind of just evolved on my own. In the early days, I had a Toyota Celica. Yes, I owned a Toyota. And I worked on that all the time, so it wasn't a motorsport, but I always liked tweaking with that thing. And then
Do you change the air in the tires or what?
change the air in the tire, diff fluid, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Put gas in it.
Yeah, that's good.
So, but then I moved to California and bought a Jeep eventually, and it's been kind of downhill since then.
In literal terms, downhill?
Uphill, downhill.
Uphill,
Downhill, rocky.
Off camber?
Yeah.
Off camber. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like anybody that owns a Jeep or any sort of off-road machine, whether it's a Toyota Jeep or whatever.
Or an S10?
Or
You
an
almost said
S10.
Bronco.
Almost said Bronco.
You
That's
almost
a
said
Ford
Bronco.
product. But I mean, I swapped out the rear end on my Jeep, and that was fun. It was a lot of grinding and welding and whatnot, and kind of tested my metal at that point. So I had help. I didn't do the welding on that project, but I did all the grinding. I don't know. I mean, my motorsports, I love Ultra 4. I mean, as soon as we started tracking into that, and the first time I went down to King of the Hammers, I think it was 2014 or 15 or 16. I can't remember exactly what year it was. Holy crap, that was super cool. I mean, it was like
Eye-opening, yeah.
it was to see these cars, and it was still pretty raw in those days. And I mean, just see how it evolved super quick after that. But that's my experience with motorsports. I mean, also going to Lime Rock racetrack when I was a kid in Connecticut and watching the
Lime Rock.
Lime Rock. Yeah, that was. They had a.
Wasn't that part of the Flintstones there?
Dude, Lime Rock racetrack was. They had. I'm not sure what the series was. It wasn't NASCAR, but it was more like probably stuff that our host understands. Porsches and stuff like that. And, I'm not sure what the classes were, but it was fun to watch these cars race around that track. So I'm not a racer by nature, but I like it. I like watching it. Oh, I like it.
What is your opinion on what Keith is doing?
Oh my God, this is super cool. I mean, my God, to think about somebody that's taking basically a stock wheeler that it was his family
The
wheeler,
wreck wheeler.
a wreck wheeler, and turning it into something that's bleeding edge. We've talked about it on our podcast.
There it is.
And turn this into something that's like out of the Jetsons. It's gonna he's gonna run this thing at King of the Hammers, in the Everyman Challenge class, and that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
To go from a wreck wheeler with a combustion engine, and the other cool thing is not knowing anything, like me or you taking our wreck wheeler and converting it over to EV, and not knowing anything about it. I admire that. I wouldn't want to do it myself, but I admire it. I mean, it's freaking great, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
What do you guys think about EV, this whole landscape?
I mean, it's the future, right? As much as I resist. I mean, because I grew up with motorsports.
You're an IC
V8,
guy.
V8, the sound of a badass uncorked V8 is hard to beat, right? So it's like, I want to hear that. And when you see an EV go off the line at Ultra 4 and with the Boston guy, and it was like,
Right.
it was like, it's cool, but wait a minute. But I love where it's going. I love the future and the instant torque and all this stuff, right? So there's a lot of benefits of it, but the sound isn't there, so we need to figure that part out. But other than that, that's my opinion.
Where do you think Keith's love of motorsports came from?
Oh, we just met Keith today.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just he's passionate. I mean, it's a family thing. He's a gearhead. I mean, he's a wrencher. He's a diesel mechanic. He's a farmer. I mean, these are all those things that, person of the earth. What's the term I'm looking for?
Every man.
I mean,
Relatable.
Somebody that works with his hands.
People that actually build shit with their hands.
Build shit, understand shit.
So I said it earlier, right? It's like once a gearhead, always a gearhead, and I don't care if it's on 2 wheels, 4 wheels, whatever.
Or 18.
Or 18 wheels, right? Badass Peterbilt out there.
Right.
But it's super cool. It's relatable for a lot of people that are into motorsports in general, right? You don't have to understand a race car. You don't have to understand this Honda souped up dragster or whatever it is, how they met. It's all comes back to motorsports, wheels, engine, combustion. But here we are now talking about electricity, right? The future. It's like Jetsons. Okay, so how does this roll out? So we're the evolution, and that's what's cool to be part of that and tell that story, and that's what I enjoy about this. It's like, and it's new to me. I'm learning with them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my checkbook isn't getting put down on the line like theirs is, so I get to learn through osmosis here. But yeah, super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Super cool.
If you guys were family men, would you go out and do what Keith is doing?
Let me answer that because I
he is a family man. I'll go ahead and let you take that one, Chris.
The only way I could do it is if I had the support of the entire family. And looking at Keith and Melissa today, they're in. They're all in, and it sounds like their children are all into it. I mean, hearing Melissa relate the children how they need to watch Ultra 4 videos while they're getting ready for school in the morning. I don't know that would happen in my reality. I mean, my oldest son, he's a gearhead. He's a welder. He's a professional welder. I know that he would be all in, and I'm not. And my wife would support everything that I want to do, and she does to a certain degree. But it's a give and take. I mean, I think that it just depends on the situation. But for me, I think that if I decided I want to become a racer, that I think my family would support it as best they can. I'm not sure that they would be all in, but they would do the best they could.
And what about you, Jason? I don't know if you're a family man.
I'm not a family man. I'm a single lone wolf. Now, if I think Chris summed it up very well. You got to have the support because it takes an army to make this thing happen,
Absolutely.
Right? And if you don't have the support of your immediate family, what are you doing it for? Why are you doing this?
No.
Yeah.
And we see it over and over again. And all the people we've interviewed over the years, and whether it's Levi Shirley and looking at the involvement of their family, the Campbell group, the Shearers. I mean, it literally, it's always the same story. They're all in, always.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
We are always constantly around motorsports, right? And you guys obviously have a lot of experience balancing like the work life, the home life, and as well as like the car life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak on your experiences with those kinds of thoughts?
One thing that I wanna is the podcast. I think we need to say why we did this podcast.
Right.
And it's like neither one of us care to race, have the finances to race, or anything like that. But we were sitting around a campfire at Barrett Lake and decided, hey, let's try this podcast thing because we spoke to our friends there at Snail Trail and said, hey, what's it take to do a podcast? And we said, oh, we could do that. We could do that better, right? Not talk about Toyotas. But anyways, it's to be part of the community, right? So it's like, how can we contribute and be part of the community and without racing. And it's like, well, this is kind of a cool thing, and it's evolved, right? Like anything else, and it's passion. We're very passionate about doing this and telling the story and getting the story out there to people, and it's been epic. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to meet. We've met so many people that we had no business meeting, and it has given us a conduit to not only meet people, but to tell their story and get the story out there and help their race program, evolve as well, which has been pretty phenomenal actually to be part of.
Agreed. And I mean, to see how it's grown. I mean, I don't know that when we sat down 3 years ago that this was going to be where we're at. Were we going to sit down with three-time kings? We have. We didn't think we would, and I mean, our bucket list was pretty short at that time in the early days. We wanted to talk to Jesse Combs was on our bucket list.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
unfortunately that didn't happen.
That's not going to happen.
Talk to her, but not on the podcast.
But not on the podcast.
Yeah.
But obviously that would have been great, and God rest her soul, and but this is our way of contributing, and be that as it may, I mean, the show is going well. How do we balance our lives? I mean, I will be honest. I mean, we have day jobs, and I do the editing and so forth for the show, and Jason does a lot of the pre-production and the arranging of the interviews and other trips that we go on and stuff.
And wheeling.
I mean, I've had some challenges this year that have impacted that, but it's always a balance. You try to find the best way to. This is kind of a hobby, so how do we manage our work, our regular day jobs with a hobby that is turning into a little bit more than a hobby? I mean, would you agree on that?
Oh, for sure, but it's a good distraction from daily life, right?
Absolutely.
It's like something fun that we can look forward to, and it's like, yeah, it is work, and obviously you do a lot of behind the scenes editing stuff, but to have something to look forward to, like today, to come up and interview Keith and Melissa of Evolve Racing and get to see this cool rig being built.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fun stuff. So yeah, and getting to put our sticker on here. How about that? So anyways, great stuff.
Okay, so just to expand on that, what are your opinions on Keith balancing having a family, having a day job, side jobs, a wife, and also being a race car driver? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, we just literally have met him today. But I mean, my first impressions are he's doing a great job. I mean, Jason and I have 3 years of experience interacting with other race car teams and seeing how they've handled it, and I think he's doing well. The couple, Melissa and Keith, are doing well. There's a lot of support in the Ultra 4 community. I know he went down to was a participant in the rookie thing down there.
Huge head start.
So to meet all those teams and to see all the other upstarts, I think that's a big opportunity.
Well, and I think, and he said it a few times during the podcast, is make sure we got a roof over our head, everybody's fed, and bills are paid, and then everything else goes to the race car. That's dedication right there, right? Family first, then everything else goes to the race car. Pretty freaking cool.
Absolutely.
So, love it, live it, race it, right? You gotta make it happen. So it's
all your dreams.
It all stems from passion. I just keep going back to that because I see it all the time in all different aspects. But when you are passionate about something, you're gonna figure out how to make that happen, and that is so key. And so doing something. Somewhat uncharted territory here, has help from the friends and stuff, but it is something different. It's not putting an LS motor into a tube buggy and going out racing with some spider track axles. That recipe has been done several times over and proven, and it works.
More than
and
several
quite
times.
Frankly, that's the direction I would go because it works.
Exactly.
But let's go outside the box here and throw a wrecked Tesla that slid 800 miles down the freeway or whatever, that's all upside down, whatever, and turn it into, put it into your wreck wheeler. Pretty freaking cool, right? Yeah. So that's what I love about this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so explain what your podcast about. Who are you guys?
My name's Chris. I'm one of the co-hosts for Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast. We started about 3 years ago. We're we're getting close to 200 episodes up in the cloud, and we talk about what's in the title: wheeling, off-roading, off-roading related things, camping, Ultra 4 racing, off-road racing, whether it's Ultra 4, We Rock, or Cal Rocks, wine and whiskey. But we always specify that we always wheel first, and we participate in the wine and whiskey.
The fun fact was, right, like when we were first coming up with the name and we wanted to call it whiskey, wine, and wheeling and stuff, and it's like, no, we need to put the wheeling first because we don't want to promote drinking and driving.
Absolutely.
And so save the drinking for around the campfire. And we all know 99% of the people in the off-road are drinking, but save it for the campfire, and that's what we promote. So, but it was like, it just kind of rolled off the tongue. That's how this started, having fun with it. And then, we started doing interviews, and it was like, we interviewed Ultra 4 Jones, and we didn't even know him. Right. And that turned out to be a great story that we still follow to this day.
Absolutely.
Of how he's evolving. And then, it was Arturo Soria was our second one, and then Amber was our third with the Suzuki Samurai. And so it's just evolved into a very cool thing, and to where, 2 years ago, we were just trying to get people to interview. It's like, hey, can we interview? Yeah, whatever, move along, kid. And now we got people calling us, which is like super cool. It's like, hey, how do we get on your podcast? And I'm like, well, here's how it is. And it's just been fun to see and be part of that, community and getting the word out there. So awesome. Fun stuff.
Absolutely, agreed.
All right. Cut.
Hey, my name is Jason Green. Go check out the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast for all your off-road, bourbon, whiskey, wine, wheeling, everything. Go check it out at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com or Wheeling Wine and Whiskey on IG.
Hey everybody, this is Chris from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. We talk about off-roading, bourbon, whiskey, wine, and all sorts of great shit. So follow us on Instagram at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, or follow us on our website, www.wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Also, don't forget about our phone number where you can leave a voicemail, 408-800-5169. That's Wheeling Wine Whiskey Podcast.
Ready, 3, 2, 1, action!
Hey, this is Chris from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. Just want to give you a quick update on our shit.
Let's go!
Somebody recorded that? Where's my phone right now?
This is what people want! Let's go! Ready? Stay right there. Don't lean forward. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1, action!
I feel like Crazy Eddie. Hey, this is Chris from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. Shit.
Cut!